Welcome everyone to Enlightened Conversations. I'm Tammie Pike, your host from Earth Radiance, and today I have the delicious Karen Geddis from Geddis. So welcome, Karen, and thank you for joining me on my show today.
Thank you so much for having me, Tammie.
It's a pleasure. So Karen is an intuitive business mindset mentor who can help you go from feeling stalled and stuck in your business to growing it in a smarter way using mindset and vibration, raising activities that help you deal with your self-doubt and fears so that you can create the business and life that lights you up. Karen works with you to hone your higher guidance, intuition, inner knowledge, so that your intuition is on top and not just showing up at random moments or out of the blue, which she believes is a key to more confidence, clarity, ease, and flow in life and business. Wow, that is such a powerful punch that you have in the business that you do, like with really connecting women with their power, isn't it? Because that's what intuition is their empowerment, the feminine, all of that, isn't it?
It is. It really is. It's who we are. You know, that part of us, that connection to our higher guidance really is who we are, because that higher guidance is that larger part of us, that spirit part of us, that you know, there's a small little part of us that's in the physical body and the rest of us is just out there. And that connection it's really all that there is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so with women, I suppose you've even said, you know, that to build their confidence in themselves and their business is to connect with that intuition. So what has brought you on this journey to do this? Like what has in your life led you to be in this point right now?
You know, when I look back over my life, I realized how supported I was or have been and still am by the divine, as we all are. I've really just fallen into things on my path. I've never been a person who's been very driven and knows what they want. I've kind of just, I guess, gone with the flow. And when I decided to become a coach, it was something that for many, many years it had been brewing, and I'd been contemplating it, and of course had all these you know, self-doubts and all these limiting beliefs and all these I can't do it and who am I to do it and no one would want to work with me. When I came into that place and I actually said it out loud to someone, everything changed, and it was like I'd opened this door that I couldn't close, or I'd stepped through this door and it had probably closed behind me and I couldn't go back. Mm-hmm. And I remember my mentor at the time saying to me, what about kind of calling yourself an intuitive coach or intuitive mentor? And it was almost like, oh yeah, that sounds good. Mm-hmm. It was another one of those examples of just falling into it. And it's actually since I started my business that it's become more and more prevalent, and that it's now at a point where my intuition, I've embodied my intuition. So it's really it just is who I am now, that when I'm working with people, I can't really tell the difference between Karen and the intuition, because there is no separation. It is just all one. And so I guess that's how it's developed for me. When I was a child, I believe I must have been intuitive, but I think we all were. And because intuition was just not a thing, it was, it was more, I guess, related to mediumship maybe, because it was in that woo-woo box. And of course, that was just when I grew up in a very religious society and religious culture, and that went into the satanic box. So no one talked about anything that was remotely, higher guidance or channeling or anything like that. And so, of course, I just didn't go there. And when I reached my early 20s, I found myself with severe clinical depression. And when I look back now, I can see that this depression was actually my disconnection from my intuitive self, that disconnection from who I truly am. I was just so far from who I was when I came into this world that I couldn't survive, or I didn't want to be here. And, through what that part of my journey was about, coming into who I am. And this ties in beautifully with what I do now when I work with people, and the whole crux of it being, when you know who you are, and you know who you are as that intuitive being, in communion with your higher guidance and your higher self, there is no lack of confidence. There is no self-doubt, because you are solid in who you are. And so I had this little calling inside me those years that I was so depressed, and I was put on a high dose cocktail of antidepressants and mood stabilizers and anti-anxiety drugs, and all the time this little voice inside me was going, where's Karen? Where is Karen? And they said to me, there's no way that someone who has depression as severe as yours ever comes off medication. It is just what you're going to have to accept for the rest of your life. You are going to be on medication. And I went, no. And which is interesting, because as I said before, when we started our conversation, I was kind of a person that just kind of floated along and just, fell into things. But this was one thing that I was so strong on. And I thought, I don't know who Karen is. And when I'm so bogged down with all the side effects of these drugs, and my head's in a fog, I don't know whether the thoughts I'm thinking are coming from me or whether they're being skewed by the medication. And that drove me to start, it drove that desire for healing. And I happened to be in a relationship a few years later with a man who just couldn't deal with the depression. It was just too, a depressed person is really hard to deal with, because they're vibrating in a place that is so disconnected from everything. And I was looking for a crutch, because I was identifying with my illness and saying, well, I'm a depressive, and all these things that come with it. And I remember one day I was living in London, and I had to go to the lithium clinic to check in. And I was just in a space where I didn't know if I was going to be able to get there. It's not like, you get in your car and it's 10 minutes away. There's, you've got to get on the underground. It's a whole which is a lot to take in when you're just not in that headspace. And I remember asking him if he would take me, and he just said, no, you've got to find your own way there. And I thought, I think I probably threw myself a little pity party, as you do. But I went home, and I remember going home and sitting on my couch and going, I'm actually on my own in this. Like, I can't expect this man to be my crutch. I'm going to have to do something about it. And I'd been reading Conversations with God, which, coming from that religious background, I'd had questions my whole life, and nobody around me could answer these questions, because everybody was in the box. And when I read Conversations with God, it blew my world open, because all these questions that I had were answered. And it was just like, oh my gosh, I've arrived. So I sat down on my couch, and I thought, well, why did I look up depression? Maybe they talk about depression in Conversations with God. And there's no depression. I thought, what's the next? Oh, illness. Let me look up illness. And I opened it onto the chapter about illness. And the first thing that I read was, you create your own illness. And I went, what? And I thought, okay, all right. Well, if I've created this, if I create my own illness, what have I done? What have I been doing to actually create it? What did I do to get me in this place? And what came to me, what the theme of the whole book is, everything is energy, and your thoughts are creating your reality. And I thought, so the thoughts that I've been thinking, I've been thinking too many negative thoughts, or, my father was very negative, very cynical, and I'd picked up that vibration, and that was so contradictory to who I truly was, which explains why I'd ended up as well in this low spiral. And I I thought, okay, well, if I've got this glass half empty view, I'm going to have to turn it around. And so I started working in every moment when I caught myself thinking a thought and I could feel that the thought was off. It wasn't a happy thought, say. And I'd have to stop myself and say, right, okay, so is this a glass half full or glass half empty? No, it's glass half empty. Okay, what is the positive? How can I turn this round to a glass half full thought? And I literally did that. It took me a couple of years because that's all I knew. I didn't have any other of these amazing modalities that we have access to now. But it was that cured my depression. And I was able to get off the medication, and I had to do it myself because they just said to me, there's no way you can't. No one in the kind of medical field would support me. My psychologist was just absolutely, there's no way you can be without medication. I'm not going to have that on me when you decide to wean yourself off. And but I did it. And a client said to me the other day, so what was it that made you do it? And I said, or what was it that got you to that place of healing it? And I said, it was literally changing my thoughts. And I realized in that moment, if I'd had access to all these modalities, I could not categorically say that your thoughts create your reality. I wouldn't have as much hard evidence as I have from having been on that journey. And that was it. And after that, I knew I was going to use this to transform lives. And it was only kind of 20 years later that I stepped into it and went, okay, it's time.
Yeah. So that's just an amazing story, because it's the power of choice and will and you have given us such an amazing example, and we can use this in every part of our life. And a lot of us don't have that extremity of being clinically depressed, but that's the thing. We have that choice every single day, and to know that you have done what you've done by making that choice. You got off, your medication. You've now become, you're a mother. You're running a business. You're living a wonderful life. You created that by your will and choice and changing that's amazing. And the women that you get to work with, I guess that's your passion, is to help them make those choices that works well for them too. Is that what what you bring to your sessions?
Absolutely. It really is that awareness of that everything is energy, and thoughts are energy, and our thoughts become things basically, and what you're thinking is creating your reality, and how your life unfolds before you, or how it shows up, and who you come across in your day, or how your business is looking, is an absolute reflection of what you are thinking, period. So if you can, if you can reframe things, and you can look at things from a different perspective, and acknowledge that you actually are in control of what you think and how you feel, you have the control to create that life and business of your dreams.
Amazing. And it's a powerful step, because I think some women aren't willing to, or don't think they're worth spending that money on to get someone like you. But to move from a place of stuckness and, stagnant energy, I guess, it's something that is so worthwhile, because you have this constant support, and, that helping hand and guiding hand to help you through these struggles that really are in your mind. And sometimes you need that third person perspective to sort of, make you own up and be responsible for yourself and your actions as well, isn't it?
That's it. And it's not kind of well, I'm just going to give you all these tools and off you go. It really is. It's an embodiment of this way of being. It's an absolute. It's almost opposite to what we were taught. Well, it is opposite to what we were taught. So it really is about having someone who can troubleshoot with you as you go through, and you're starting to change the way you look at things, and you're starting to realize that the outcomes changing, or the outcomes not going the way you want to, and to have someone who understands it absolutely completely to look at it and go, yeah, well, this is what, this is where you're, maybe you're confusing your intuition with your monkey mind here, or maybe these are the thoughts that you're thinking that we could just reframe and or tell a different story, and have someone walk with you. Once you've done that for at least 90 days, you've actually shifted into a new lifestyle that will change the rest of your life. So it's not like, oh, I'm just investing in a 3-month course. I'm investing in the rest of my life. That, how much money am I going to make? How much joy am I going to have? How is my parenting going to change? My relationship with my partner, my relationships with my in-laws, everything. Your whole life is going to change. That, it's almost you want to say it's a no-brainer. It's hard to put money down. It really is. I agree with you. It really is, especially for women. We always put ourselves last. But it's like, this is like an investment in putting you first. And everybody wins. Everybody wins. Yeah.
That's exactly right. Because when you fill your tank up and you are like totally feeling at flow and ease and joy in your life, I think women really, like some women really don't understand that. Like when you are full and happy and joyful, so is the rest of your family. Everything just flows. Everything is just so much more easy, because you're saying to the universe, yes, this is what I want. I'm putting my needs first. I'm doing what I love to do. You're full of love and energy, and it just flows on, doesn't it?
That's it. And all we can do as the coaches, all we can do is be that, and be that example, and lead through that example, and so that everyone can look at you and go, well, how is your life so awesome? Or how are you looking so amazing? Or, what is that light that's shining out of you? So that you can say, yes, but this is the work that I do. This is the practice that I put in place every day. This is how I live. And you can too. Every single person can make this choice. Every single person, because we're all one, and we're all given access to this opportunity to be in communion with who we are. Really, it's everybody can do it. It's not reserved for special people, or intuitive people, because we all are. We just haven't been encouraged to be that, because no one understood it. I guess in a patriarchal society, intuition just wasn't a big thing. Logic was the big thing. So why would intuition be given any credibility when logic was how it ran and logic was how it worked? And there's no space in a logical world for trust and surrender, which is what the feminine is, and what the intuition side is. It just makes total sense that that's how it was, but we're here now, and it's time for us to embrace that.
Oh my God, you are just the epitome of yes. This is exactly what you're talking about. You're walking your truth, and you can feel and hear it, and it's just so amazing, because you're putting that beacon out, you're putting that vibration out, and like you said, you are really embodying what you're teaching the women that you're connecting with. And I think what is so amazing is you're teaching them it's okay to get out of that box, that box of self-limitation, other limitations people have put on them, societal views as well, to really create a life that feels good to them, not just because of what other people think, and it's okay to be powerful and to shine,
It is. It's like, I just want everybody to have it. I want everybody to, and it's amazing. And when I look at, because we all go through, it's hard to face those fears, that come up when you do get called to be in communion with your higher guidance, or to step into your magnificence. But when you can support women through it, and you can see the transformation that happens, and see where they stand afterwards, in that place of that's just totally different. It's like, I guess they call it breaking through the ceiling in some cases. When you see that, your fear can only see the ceiling.
Yeah.
So it's like, no, we're not going there. And as soon as you've had somebody that can guide you and support you, and it really is holding the space, because the thing that I have is I can see people's full potential. That's what I see when you sit in front of me. I see that magnificence of who you are. So all those self-limiting stories that you're telling don't wash with me, because I can see that they're all just an illusion, because I see you.
Mm-hmm.
So I just hold that space, and call you to who you are. And you break through the ceiling, and then you're like, oh, and it's amazing. It's amazing. And there's many women doing this. There's many women helping women come to this place, at this time.
Definitely. But what I think we all know too, you have your own unique flavor, and this flavor you have is wild and beautiful and feminine and delicious. And it's just so, I love talking to you. Just, you feel that, that juiciness. Amazing. So wondering then too, so you knew the passion, you knew one day you would help women, that they can make this choice, and that you've created, your intuitive business and your mentoring and coaching. But how did you create it into a business to start with? How did you want to do it?
I went according to the book in the beginning. I invested a really, really, really large amount of money in a business mentor who specializes in growing coaching businesses, and who at the same time understood energy. So it was more about, I wanted somebody who understood energy, because that's who I am. And I had worked with business coaches before who sort of weren't spiritual, if you want to call it that, who were just very, very left brain masculine focused, I guess. Mm-hmm. So when I came round to starting this business, I knew that I wanted someone who filled that gap that was missing with the others, and who could understand energy, and who could understand there was a balance between masculine and feminine. Mm-hmm. So that's how I started out. I started out with all the structure, and what I found as I went through and I followed the steps that this mentor gave me, I started to feel or intuit that there was another way to do things, which again, it leads us into this new paradigm that we're all moving into, with this new way of doing business that is more focused on that integration of the masculine and the feminine. So I found, as I went through and I applied the structure, I had this calling from my intuition to say, this is what you need to do, or this is what you need to say, or this is where you need to put yourself. And it really has been an amazing adventure for me, because I've had to really, again, grapple with that old school, the voice of my dad saying, no, you can't do it your way. Your way won't work. That won't work. You've got to stick to this. But I couldn't. It didn't. I actually stopped seeing results in my business because that old paradigm was starting to fall down. Mm-hmm. And I hadn't stepped into the new paradigm. I was ignoring all my nudges. And when I started to take action according to those nudges, everything opened up and everything started to move. And now that's what that's what I help women with from that business side of, again, it's getting used to the key piece being that connection to your intuition, honing that guidance, so that, because there is no structure to the feminine, and like you said before, we all have this unique flavor, and the unique flavor that we have is not a textbook unique flavor. It's not, well, what are you good at, or what do you like? It's who are you? Mm-hmm. Who are you being? Who are you? What do you vibrate as? Because that is what is calling your clients to you. That is what is making that beacon shine. It's nothing that you're doing. It's what you're being. And then you take the structure from the masculine side, and then you apply all the feminine, the nudges that you've been getting, and all those, the vibrational and energetic side, you apply it into that structure. So you leverage the structure so that you've got the best of both worlds. And I guess that's how it was meant to be. It's the integration of the two, but we're top heavy on the masculine still, mm-hmm. because we're still learning to accept that intuition is the piece. It is the piece that we need to, I use the word hone. It's that piece that we need to really, get a grip on, so that we can work in this new paradigm. The more we keep pushing, and the more we keep trying to do it in the old way, the less results we're going to see in our business.
Oh, I can totally relate to that. And I think that's what led me on this journey, talking to women who have followed their intuition in business, especially because usually what we do is the medicine we need as well. You know, we bring it to ourselves. And like last year was the most, like, it was a pretty tough year, just, you know, pushing in everything. I was like pushing against. And then this year, as I went, you know, I allowed joy to be my compass, and I'm joyful in what I do. And then I was connecting with other women, and then things started happening. And I'm like, well, that's what I love to do, is be joyful and connect with women. It was just crazy. So I definitely hear what you're saying with that. And when we really allow that feminine flow and giving and receiving in a balanced way, that's when we will find that way of doing our business that really resonates with ourselves, and using a bit of this and a bit of that, and, you know, creating it into what works for us as an individual, or a co-creation as well. Because I think that's another shift is happening, is the co-creation of businesses, of what we do. And it's not, you know, the scarcity mindset. It's like, there's so much for everyone. Let's join together and help each other. And, you know, what you say, just the balancing and the merging, and it just works so beautifully, doesn't it?
It does. It does. I can't see any other way to do it now that I've stepped into it so much that I can't. Yeah, I couldn't go, well, I know the old way doesn't work. I just couldn't go there. And it's really interesting to watch I've got a marketing and public relations background, and my business before this was email marketing and copywriting and content creation for people. And watching that whole marketing piece shift has been so fascinating, because it really is, you know, it started off with people just not tolerating the lack of authenticity in marketing, and most of, you know, the email marketing side of things, you know, especially where I was working, you know, building these complex funnels and campaigns for people. It was very, you know, follow this template. Here's all the templates, and make it yours. But it wasn't that authenticity. It was what was perceived to be authenticity. But again, what it really is what energy or what vibration are you actually bringing to this piece? So when I put together my emails now in this business, it's always in communion with my higher guidance. Is what do my people need to hear now? Because how does my brain know what they need to hear? It's got no idea what's going on out there. It's only there to put the structure in place, you know, and like make sure your email goes out at that time. My higher guidance is tapped into that divine matrix out there of information. It knows exactly what's going on with my people, where their energy is, where their vibration is, and what they need to hear. And you know it when you send out your email from that space, and you get all these replies back from people saying, oh my God, that's exactly what, you know, what I wanted to hear today, or that's exactly, and it's like, yes, you know, that's what it's about. It's bringing your essence into the marketing now, and not just just punching out these blanket you know, things to make money. It's not. We all want to make money, and we're all entitled to make money because there's an unlimited supply out there for us. But it's doing it in that way where it's not about the money. We just know that the money just is there because that's just the energetic exchange.
Yes.
Yeah,
definitely. That's just so phenomenal. And I think the points that you've really hit on is perfect for women in business, especially soul-centered, soulful businesses that are wanting to connect and not, as they say, sausage selling. You know, it's really just being truthful to yourself. And sometimes it can be a bit difficult, you know, I find too, like, you know, with newsletters and doing it. But it doesn't matter if it's once a year. If it comes solely from you, that's going to be the best thing you could possibly do to connect with your market. And it's a phenomenal way. And I checked out your website, and you had a blog on there. Like, you have amazing blogs. And the one that grabbed me was about the receiving. And, you know, what you've written there is just so phenomenal, because it's so true in everything you've said. And women especially have such an issue with receiving. So I guess if you are able to, like, what do you feel about if women are having issues within their business, a tip or what you use yourself to allow yourself to receive clients and receive money and things like that, because you've written it so beautifully.
So I had this real light bulb moment when about the whole money and receiving thing, and with, you know, money being energy, everything being energy, and what I used to do was make money a separate thing. So when I was wanting to, you know, grow my business, say, or pay the bills, I'd have this money thing as a different object or a different entity. And I realized and I was saying, why isn't this money coming in? Why isn't this money coming in? And then I had this light bulb moment, but it's energy, and everything is energy. And if everything is energy, then source or God, or whatever you want to call it, is energy. And source or God, going back to my sort of religious, my Sunday school upbringing, God is love. Money is love. Okay, so where am I having a problem? Am I able to receive love? And I wasn't able to receive love from my childhood. I told myself that my mother didn't love me, and I was not lovable. Then I found it really hard to receive love, and it just had that massive light bulb moment that went, geez, well, if I can't receive love, how can I receive money? How can I receive anything? How can I receive clients? How can I? Because it's all linked. It's all one. And that's what I find is the biggest stumbling block with women wanting to call in clients and going, where are they? Where are they? The clients are there. They're all there waiting. They're all there ready. They've all heard you, and they know that you're the one that they want to work with. But because you can't receive, you're like just holding them away. You're like calling them to you because you're doing all the right things with your marketing and your blogging, and everyone's going, oh, this is amazing. This is amazing. And then you're going, no, but I can't receive you. I can't receive you. So it's looking at, I'm always about finding evidence, because that's the best way to get your brain or your monkey mind to kind of come to your party and stop telling you that story. So if I, for example, had a story of I'm not loved, where can I find evidence that I am loved? And it's a similar thing with the receiving. Where can I find evidence that I actually am good at receiving? There are things that I receive really easily. I receive love from my dog, no problem. And I don't even question it. I don't look at him and go, you don't love me. No, I'm sure you don't love me. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, yes. So it's like, yeah, well, I don't have a problem receiving there. And what I help people with is understanding that it's all about the feeling. It's not about the situation. So in terms of how the universe responds to us, it doesn't speak English. It's not listening to our words, and that's the brain. The brain's listening to your words. The universe is just responding to how you feel and what you're putting out there. So if you just took that one situation of where do I receive really, really well? I receive love from my dog really easily. Or my children love me, and I just drink it in. I'm actually good at receiving, because in that moment I am able to receive. So you hold on to that feeling of how easy it is for you to receive, and you don't put any attention on all those other places like, oh yeah, but I can't receive clients, or oh yeah, no, but I'm really bad at receiving compliments. Don't worry about that, because the universe it only cares about what you're putting out there. It only believes what you're putting out there. So if you don't go there and you just hold on to that one thing and revisit it as often as possible, and using the words, I do receive love, which then, panders to the monkey mind so that it can tone down with its story. Yeah, but you don't, because you don't have any clients. You know what I mean? It's kind of doing this dance between sticking to that vibration and honing that and like ramping that up, and then doing the affirmations, if you want to call it that, just, to get your brain to come to the party and go, oh yeah, okay, I can stop, because that's what's stopping it as well, is that story that you're not loved. So it's kind of like what can I do to like get my brain to come to the party, to stop telling that story? And then what can I do so that the universe just knows that I'm awesome at receiving, therefore it's going to just keep bringing stuff to me because I'm awesome at receiving. And then when clients start to come in or money starts to come in, you lock in that evidence. Well, hey, look, there's my evidence that I'm good at receiving, because here it's starting to show up.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what it is. That's the work.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I guess to it is so easy in a way that you can do it, but it's even better and more consistent and more approachable and integratable, I guess, when you have someone helping you do that and being accountable to do, you know what I mean? Like the support, the mentoring, the coaching, all of that. And that's why like I studied counseling, and I was doing counseling, and it just didn't fit right. Anyway, whatever it was, it didn't fit right. Coaching then, I happened to have a free coaching call with someone, and it changed my life, completely changed my life from a 30-minute free whatever. But it was just like, wow, this is amazing. What is it? And then I started getting coaching more and more and fell in love with it to a point that I want to do it. And when you have someone who is passionate, who is there for you, not for themselves, when you have someone who's truthful and living and being what they're teaching, you've got the steps, like a person there to help you create the reality you want, isn't it?
This is it, yeah.
And that's what I love about you. Everything you're embodying, you've got this passion and this desire to help these women, that it's not about you. It's about you getting the answers from them and helping them find the right way for them. And
that's it.
Yeah.
It's like, it's that cliche. It's that empowering people. Really, it's what it is. It really is giving people, letting people know that they are in control, that they are in control. And it's really awesome when you find out that you create your own reality, and you're like, ooh, how exciting, because I want a yacht and I want to live in Mauritius and I want to do, and then you have a shit day and you're like, oh God, I create my own reality, this is this is awful, so it's like so to have someone that can, like your cheerleader, that can keep reminding you that this is only awful because you haven't changed, and you just need to tweak this. You haven't changed your thoughts quite yet, or you're still telling a story that's, and have someone walk with you. It's really is, it's the difference between, it's nothing that you don't already know. It's nothing that you can't do. But like you say, Tammie, it's having somebody that can keep you accountable, because it could take you years. I think if I didn't invest that, huge amount of money in getting that business coach, maybe it would have taken me 3, 4, 5 years to build my coaching business. But here was someone who had done it over and over, had proven results, had helped hundreds of women build their coaching businesses. You could see the results that they'd got. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you just invest that amount and that short amount of time to have? So I've got what I need for the next 5 years in my business for that, what is now a really small amount of money, because I've made it back, over and over and over. So that's
amazing. And so if people want to work with you, what is the services that you can provide, Karen?
So I do the one-on-one work. So really, if you're a woman who's determined to, okay, I'm ready now. I'm sick of being stuck. I'm sick of being stalled. I know there's another way. I just need somebody that's going to walk with me and get me into this new way of being and doing business. That one-to-one for, the starting period of 90 days is really the best way to fast track into this new lifestyle, if you want to call it that. The other service that I offer is I run an 8-week mastermind, which is a group program. So it's more affordable because it's a group program, and we've got 8 weeks of just going through this, honing your intuitive guidance, getting used to how your intuition speaks to you, and then how our thoughts create our reality, within all these tools and processes and techniques and strategies that we can use to start, bringing them into our life and business, to to start your way on this, in this new lifestyle. And then at the same time, there's the group coaching with me. It's a very high touch 8 weeks. The trainings are live once a week, and then we do group coaching so that everybody gets to ask their question, whatever it is, because it's your time. Bring whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't have to be what we studied or what, it's get as much value out of me as you can. And that's how I like it to be, because it builds that group, that sisterhood, if you want to call it. Between the women, everybody supports each other, and of course, because everyone's a mirror of each other, you might get to ask one question during the group coaching session, but there's another 6, 7, 8 other women asking a question, and it's a question that you had, and that all gets answered. And of course, we do a lot of energy healing as well, so everybody gets to be part of the healing. And that's a really, so there's those two options. Because some people are group people. Some people would rather do it in a group.
Definitely.
Some people would rather not be in a group at all. They want to fast track, or they're nervous that for whatever reason, their situation is unique, and they just want to work one-to-one with me. So I've kind of covered everybody's desires, I guess, for how they want to work with someone.
Awesome. Wonderful. And so if people want to find you, where can they connect with you? So
you can go to my website, KarenGeddis.com, or I'm on Facebook, Karen Geddis Intuitive Mentor. And I also have a Facebook group called Work Energetically Smarter, which is what this whole model is really, at leveraging all that universal energy to grow your business. So that group is kind of, it's a non-promotional group. So it really is a group for women who want to understand, and men. There's a couple of men in there who want to understand how to work in this new paradigm and how to employ all these different ways of looking at things. And I do like a live Q&A where I answer people's questions and give them intuitive guidance. I do that once a week. So that everybody gets to understand how I work and what I'm about, and so that's the kind of community that I'm building in that Facebook group.
Oh, that is gorgeous and divine, and such a special space too, because I think what some people might know too, you're like a full package. You have so much. It's not just the mentoring you do, is it? Like you have the intuitive readings, and is it the chakra readings as well that you do?
Yeah. So I do. Often I find, if someone's I can sense that someone's got a fear, that method that Ricky Jane taught us through the Lightworker Institute of being able to read the chakras and find the fears, often an easy way for me to connect into my higher guidance and go straight to what is going on for that person. So I use that method, that chakra reading and clearing. I use that a lot because it just is, like I say, it's an easy go-to for me to just get. I just find that I'll just hear it's the chakras, and then I can look and it will just jump out straight away, and then that connection's open, and then we look at the fear, and then we clear it, and it goes really well together with when we're doing the strategy side of things, and I'm helping people move forward in their business, and then they get to this block or the next place where they can't move forward because there's the fear. Let's go in and clear it. Let's get it out of the way. So it really is it's a whole package, and the intuitive. Most of what I do is the intuitive guidance, because again, my brain can only give me what it's learned and what it knows, or maybe what I've researched. So while there's that aspect from the business building logical side of things, the intuitive guidance really is what I want to go with, because that's actually it can see the big picture. It can see the big picture, and I can say, right, so this is what it is, and then let's pull all my marketing knowledge, let's pull all the business strategy in, and it's that weaving together, and let's weave it together and send you on your way.
Perfect. Oh, you're divine. I just wanted to say thank you for completely showing up and being yourself, because you are such a divine woman to talk to, and you are so inspirational. And I think that's why I love doing what I do, because I get to talk to women like you. it's a no-brainer for me. So thank you so much, Karen, and I appreciate everything you've shared today. And I believe that so many people are going to gain so much from watching this. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm honored to have had this conversation with you, because I know it is your gift to have these conversations and to hold that space for this inspiration to flow between you and the person you're talking to. So thank you for having me.
Oh, wonderful, Karen. So if we will be sharing where you can find Karen as well, and with the links and the bio of Karen, and I hope you can connect with her, because she is an amazing woman and you would really be doing yourself a favor. So thank you everyone for watching, and take care.